conversation is going round. People talking about the colors come to town. Fresh as a summer breeze, she'll take you by surprise.
Good morning and welcome to another fabulous episode of Freshwaves here on Whistle FM. We have a great show lined up. We have a great show every time we line up a show. Jason Rumball is our technical producer. How are you doing this morning, Jay?
I'm doing pretty good, Brent. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. And a big shout out to Ivan Harris for all the wonderful things he does here at the station, including all the stuff he does here for Freshwaves. This is a Whistle FM production, and we'd like a big shout out also going to Reeser's Market and Bakery for the fabulous muffins in the studio this morning. It's Morning Glory muffin time. I love Morning Glory muffins. Wheat-free, dairy-free, fabulous muffins. Wonderful taste. They've got everything under the sun. Nuts, seeds, carrots, all kinds of fun things.
All the good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Good for you.
And good for you, definitely.
Get your day going in the right way. That's Reeser's Market and Bakery at 5758 Main Street here in Stouffville. Today, we have the one and only Karen Piper. And no, she's not a musician. That's the Pied Piper. This
Right.
is the Karen Piper from Markham, from Peppertree Klassics. We are so happy to have you in the studio this morning, Karen. We've been trying to put this together for over a year, so I'm really happy that we finally nailed down a date that works for us both. Welcome to Fresh Waves.
Thank you, Brenda. It's great to be here.
Well, we're really looking forward to this show. Today we're going to talk about fashion. We're going to talk about the industry a little bit because the industry is kind of intriguing to people. I mean, there's a lot of people who I'm pretty sure don't realize how far in advance you buy things. There's the world fashion view. You go to Europe and people say, oh, Europe is 2 years ahead of us or at least a year ahead of us. And this is the trend that's coming. And sometimes it comes and sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes it's super big there and not so big here. Sometimes it's massive here and not so big there. I remember the neon era, for example, where in Europe, everything was neon colors, neon ski jackets, and winter clothes were all bright and vibrant. And when it hit here, it hit more in a little niche market of high-end ski wear and high-end winter wear, but it really didn't catch on. Canadians are a little too conservative for the neon in everything kind of deal. We are kind of boring, I think, fashion-wise, but not you particularly, but on the whole, we tend to be a little conservative here in Canada. So we'll talk about that, and then we'll just talk about fashion and individuals. Just because something's trendy doesn't mean that it's the right thing for you necessarily.
Correct.
Does that sound like fun?
Oh, sounds awesome.
All right. So how did you ever get into the fashion industry? How'd you end up owning your own store?
Well, it started back in 1978. I was working for the Royal Bank. Across the street from the Royal Bank where I worked, there was a little store called Trendsetter. I worked there on weekends and nights after I worked at the bank. And then in 84, we bought Trendsetter and it became my store. So it was fabulous. And then I lost my Trendsetter in my divorce, and my parents helped me open Peppertree Klassics in 1994. So we're 24 years as of May of this year.
So were you working at the bank in what people would consider to be, again, a very conservative kind of a place, looking across the street at the fashion and going, yeah, I love that?
Yes, exactly. And even when I was younger, I worked at like Fairweathers, and there was a place downtown called Bargain Basement, which was part of Fairweathers. I worked at Shoppers Drug Mart. So I kind of had the retail sense.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to do the fashion because as a little girl, my mom always dressed me head to toe in fashions. So it was great. She made all my clothes every Sunday for school.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I've always been a fashion queen.
Isn't that something? I remember people used to make their clothes. We had people on our street who would make their clothes. And it's a wonderful thing because you can take the basic style and then do with it as you please.
Exactly. And we used to go to Fabricland every Saturday. And then on Sunday, Mom and I would sew. And for school on Monday, I'd always have new outfits. So it was perfect. So now being in the industry is great because I see it done in a different way. Obviously, fashion has changed a lot. We're now getting stuff that's not Canadian made. Even though I do search that out, I look for Canadian labels. because that's what people want. They want made in Canada merchandise, but the problem is that it gets higher priced and people just do not want to pay the price.
It does get higher price. We were talking about that actually last week with the Green Party candidate, Jose Echeverria, who thought that, it's a shame that we lost so much manufacturing in Ontario specifically, Canada in general, but in Ontario specifically. And I did the same thing. I always look for labels like Michael Tyler that is Canadian and designed here. There's a lot of times where it's not manufactured here, but we used to have some really good stuff.
And there still is. We've got, actually at Peppertree, we do carry a lot of Canadian labels. We have Libra. We do have Michael Tyler. We have
Lola.
Crystal, Lola Jeans.
I love Lola Jeans.
And then, of course, Parkhurst, which we've carried forever. They are Canadian owned, but the problem is now they used to manufacture everything in their North York factory, but now it's a lot of it's China.
I remember it. I used to go there right to the factory and get all their little goofs.
Yeah, exactly. All the errors.
Then I could afford the sweaters.
Exactly.
When I got the little goofs.
Yes.
Oops.
Yeah.
But if the oops is under the arm, whoever knows, whoever cares, whoever sees it.
Exactly. And sometimes with the little oops, you can pull them through with crochet hook or a needle and just fix it up. So it all works.
That's really cool. And that's funny. I never took home ec at school, but it's one of the things when my kids were going to school that I noticed is really lacking. And when you see other European countries where you cannot graduate from kindergarten without being able to sew on a button and do a really basic sewing stitch to sew up a hem that's come apart or something, or a seam that's come apart, it's a great skill to have for the rest of your life and saves you a ton of money. It really does. Not to mention the fact that shipping tape often works really well at hemming pants,
Or staples.
Staples, I find, they can get a little sharp and pointy, but
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you started by working at another store. That's actually a good place to be, isn't it? You sort of know everything there is to know from the ground up.
Exactly. I used to go and help them open the boxes and put the merchandise out at the store. And then I would help sell to customers once I knew what was going on. So it's important to know what the inventory is in a store. And when a customer comes in, what their needs are and what they're looking for, their body shape, their body type, and trying to figure out what is going to look perfect on them.
Mm-hmm. That's a good skill to have. And I appreciate an atmosphere where the salespeople are being honest. I don't like that. Oh, that looks great on you. And you get home and you think, what?
And we're at Peppertree, we are known for that. We do not let people leave the store if there's something that doesn't look great on them. And we do tell them at the time that, you know what, take that off, put it away. Let's try something different. And the other thing we do is try and get people out of their box as such, because people get in a rut in their fashion looks or their day-to-day wear, and they just don't know how to step out of the box, where with us, we are there to help them guide the way and make them look great without making them look funny or goofy or too trendy if they're not trendy. So we are there to help people with all their needs.
It's a nice place to be.
Yes,
it's a very nice
I love
store.
being there, and I have a great fashion team that are there 7 days a week. So we are there to help everybody dress in the looks that are proper for them.
Okay. Well, we're going to take our first little break, and when we come back, we'll be continuing our conversation, and I think we'll talk about fashion trends. You're listening to Fresh Waves. We've got Karen Piper in the studio from Peppertree Klassics. Do stay tuned, because we'll be right back.
Hey everyone, this is Lil J. Join me every Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern for the Block Party. A 2-hour journey of the best in the Canadian underground dance music scene, featuring tracks and DJ mixes from Canada's emerging artists, from the disco hits of the 70s to the latest dance floor fillers. No lineups or cover charges, it's your weekly free access to the beats that are packing dance floors in Canada and around the world. The Block Party, Saturday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on 102.9 Whistle FM and online at whistleradio.ca.
Hi, folks. Kim Mitchell here. You know, however you choose to get around, your ATV, your snowmobile, your boat, car, if you have a motorcycle, all these things take 100% of your attention and skill to operate safely. Alcohol impairs that, and bad things can happen. So, be smart, okay? You know what I'm going to say next.
This message brought to you from the Safe and Sober Awareness Committee.
And here we are back in the studio. We've got Karen Piper with us this morning, and we're talking about fashion. So Karen, we just hit briefly on the subject of trends. And last week on Freshwaves, we were talking about color trends in painting your house and things, and Benjamin Moore's color of the year, which may be their color of the year, and it might not work in your world. And I think it's the same with fashion, isn't it? There are some times where I can search high and low and I can't find a color I like because the trend is for a certain, like I don't like the brushed colors, the grayish pinks, the grayish yellows. Those have never been my colors. So on a year when that's trendy, I'm out of luck.
Because you want the real colors. You want the deep colors, the winter tones, the dark, vibrant colors. Mm-hmm. And that happens, like now we're into spring and summer. So now we're seeing all the bright colors. But then when you get into fall and winter, the tones change. But for me, I do try and buy the brighter tones for fall and winter because we have so many customers that love to have color in their wardrobe for the winter. Doesn't mean that it has to be out there or neon, but it can just be refreshing and bright and just a great color for the winter.
Okay, so how do you dictate or buy for trends? I mean, you obviously see a trend coming in. How far in advance do you see these trends coming in? Are you already planning for next summer, or are you just working on next fall?
I'm done fall and winter. I'm actually starting next week. I start on spring and summer 2019. So we are way ahead.
That far in advance?
Oh, yeah. Because they've got to manufacture it. They've got to get the orders in.
Right.
And then there's actually cutoff times. Like, for instance, for fall and winter, our cutoff times were for buying were April 30th. So as of April 30th, no more winter buying. So now starting June 1st, we start buying for spring 2019. So it's very exciting. And trends are based on Europe. And like you said earlier, Europe is 2 years, a year and a half ahead of us. So those trends we probably won't see until spring, summer of 2020. So it's a hit and miss. But when I do my buying, I look for things that I know are a trend. Like, for instance, ripped jeans were the big thing, still are a big thing, but we do them so that they're not ripped open. We do the rip and repair. So your skin isn't showing through because it's age appropriate. So I try and keep to age appropriate looks for Peppertree.
So it's split, but it's not split right through.
It is ripped, but then it has like a patch underneath so you don't see your skin through the fabric. So it's kind of, they call it rip and repair. So it is ripped. It is actually ripped. And you could take the patch off the back if you want your skin to show, but it's repaired on the back with either a pretty fabric or lace or whatever. So your skin's not showing through. Okay.
So my thought is, if the rip thing is not your thing, why would you get it ripped and then repaired? Why wouldn't you just avoid a ripped jean altogether?
Well, and that's what a lot of ladies do. They say, oh no, I can't do a ripped jean, which is fine because we have jeans that are not ripped and that are fabulous. Like we carry French dressing, which is our #1 jean in the store. Mm-hmm. And I actually start buying their spring and summer next week for next year. And apparently the line is amazing. So it's exciting for me too because I get to see the trends or the looks before next season. But then now I don't want winter. I just want to see next spring.
Okay. That would be really hard because what's in fashion now is not necessarily going to be in fashion next spring or next summer, a year from now.
Correct. So looks will change. They'll still be the basic looks, like your basic jeans, your basic tops, but you're going to see probably lots more color, lots more prints. Mm-hmm. And right at this point, I don't know what's happening, but as of next week, I will see what's going on for 2019 for spring and summer. For fall this year, there's lots of great color. They've added some colors, some bright, refreshing magentas and turquoises, because
A
everybody...
turquoise for fall?
Yeah, but it's not like, it's like a tealy turquoise. So it's kind of a great look to just make you feel fresher, because winter's so long.
Well, I am a person who loves to put color in my wardrobe, and I often buy my winter clothes in the summer. So I will buy a little jacket that can go over top of something that's got lots of color in it, or I'll buy a black jacket, but I'll buy a turquoise top for underneath, or a bright purple, or something that's got color. So from the back I look all black. On the front there's a splash of color. I think men are doing that now with these colorful ties that you see in the business environment. It's almost the only expression that they have with the basic black or gray business suit, is to have this splashy tie of some sort, or a splashy colored tie. So I kind of do the same thing with tank tops and little underneath shirts underneath what would be sort of a conservative outfit.
Well, exactly. And the other thing too is your accessories. Like, you can put on a fabulous scarf in the winter with a jacket and a nice tank, and that changes your look completely. Your accessories are very important. We were talking earlier, Brenda and I, about footwear. I mean, when you're doing your look from head to toe, you have to have the right footwear. You have to have the right look, have different looks in your wardrobe to change it up. You can have just a basic jean with a jacket, but put different colored tanks on, throw on a scarf, throw on a fabulous necklace, and then you're all good to go.
And those are the trendy things that I think you can spend some money on, because they don't go out of style.
Correct. So if you have like basic, let's say, black jeans and a black jacket, and you want to put a fuchsia tank underneath, then go and buy yourself a scarf with color in it to add to your wardrobe, to make it, just give it that pop so you feel fresh and exciting for the season.
Mm-hmm. And then you're not really following the trend necessarily, because I guess that's what you would call a classic look.
Exactly. And classic looks are still there. And we have lots of customers that still want that classic everyday look, but they still want a bit of fashion. So we'll add an accessory, or we'll add a little jacket, or we'll give them a new top to wear underneath their looks, just to give them that new exciting look for the summer.
Mm-hmm. But by and large, do you find that, I remember there used to be a philosophy of cost-effective purchasing of fashion that seems to have gone by the wayside. When you used to say, here's my staple black pants and my staple gray pants, then I've got 3 or 4 different tops that I can intermatch with both of those, and jackets, that 2 or 3 jackets, but you mix and match, and then you have, that's how people used to put together a wardrobe. But I don't see people doing that as much anymore.
You do a little bit. For me, for example, when I'm buying, the rule of thumb is I buy 7 tops to 1 bottom. So if I'm buying 1 bottom for the store, we get 7 different styles of tops to put with that one look. So it's kind of the same as having your wardrobe planned out. So if you've got navy pants, you've got 3 tops that go with your navy pants, and maybe a little red jacket or a white jacket or a yellow jacket that works to tie in your whole look. So it's kind of, yes, it is still the classic rule of you have your basics and you add pieces to it. But then there is a lot of trendy looks that you just do once, and then you've got it for the season and you wear it. Like dresses. Dresses are the biggest thing this season. You throw it on and off you go. It's easy. You don't have to mix and match it.
But
and
that's
they're
not
fun.
like for this season. Aren't dresses just always there?
Not so much in the winter. You don't see as much dresses for fall and winter because it's cold. We don't want our legs cold. So for the summer, people love dresses because they can just whip it on and put their little sandals, little jean jacket over top, and they're all set to go.
Okay. So, but I actually meant that dresses for summer have just always seemed to be there.
Sorry, yes. Dresses have always been, a big look.
Now, how about these trends that seem to be very California, for a lack of anything other descriptive way? The big brands that are for, I guess a lot of them are for younger kids, but you're talking 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds who are buying fashion that's really trend-setting and trendy in California. But we live in Canada and it's minus 30.
Exactly. So you don't want to buy stuff that's too trendy. And plus, it's like when people come into the store and they say, oh, I was in Florida and I got this and that. Well, in Florida, your fashion is totally different than here. Things you wear in Florida, you don't necessarily wear in Canada because we don't have the weather. We don't have that look of that palm trees and all that kind of fun stuff. So you kind of have to watch what you wear and watch your prints and watch your style, because we are in Canada and our weather is not the same as Florida or in India, Italy, or those places. So it's all different. So, and fashion is so different in Europe than it is here.
I particularly love summer clothes. I am not a fan of winter clothes. But the bottom line is we have more opportunity to wear winter clothes than most places in the world. And we have to kind of dress for it. I find it really difficult sometimes to find a thick pant, a thick winter pant. So something that's not paper thin, something that has a little substance to it, because I'm going to go outside and it's minus 30 and I don't want to be wearing jeans. Jeans are cold in the wintertime. So is there opportunity for us to find those kinds of things?
Actually, yes. We carry a fabric at the store for fall, which we carry a lot of. It's called PDR, which is Ponte di Roma. And it's actually thicker than a jean, thicker than a dress pant, but not wool. You don't even find wool anymore. Even when I'm out buying, you very rarely find wool pants, because I have ladies asking all the time. And it's just not there, because A, it's expensive. B, then you get the lining and then the lining's cold. So how do you win? So this new fabric that's Ponte di Roma, we sell lots of it. We had it last fall, and it's an amazing, amazing pant.
Does it feel kind of like wool?
No, it feels like, I don't even know how you explain it. It's kind of like a heavier fabric. It's like a knit, but it doesn't bag out like a knit. And it's a fabulous, fabulous fabric.
Huh. Isn't that interesting? And that would be in a dress pant would have that fabric, as opposed to leggings, which I heard are trending on their way out.
Yes, leggings are trending on their way out. We did that look for way too long, and it's not a look for everyone. So it's kind of now we're doing the skinnier pant, the narrower pant, lots of fringe detail on the bottoms of pants. So it's kind of gone a little fun. But we also there's still the classics. I mean, the classics are there. They will always be there. Mm-hmm. There's still the lady that wants the zipper front pant with the button and a dress pant. So it's all part of fashion, and you still have to think about those people as well. Older people aren't necessarily into the trends, and they still want the classics, but they might want a trendy top or a jacket or something fun just to add to their wardrobe.
Yeah, most seniors don't want ripped jeans, even if they are repaired.
Actually, you'd be shocked. We
Really?
sell more ripped jeans to our older customers than our younger. So like our 60 and over customers are the ones that are buying our ripped and repaired jeans.
Isn't that fun? Mm-hmm. Good for them.
You know what? It's fun. If you do it right, it can still look very classy. You don't have to have it ripped through so your knees are hanging out and your skin's hanging out. You can do it so it looks like a great look.
Huh. Who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, exactly.
I would never have thought that.
And then you also were saying about men, the big thing now with men is socks. Like printed socks are huge.
We're going to have a chat about printed socks when we come back from our break, because I got a few things to say about the printed sock thing. And I know Jay's laughing back there behind the microphone. He's probably got printed socks on. Anyway, you're listening to Freshwaves here on Whistle FM. And we're talking with Karen from Peppertree Klassics today. And we'll be back right after this quick break. Stay tuned.